Tip number one is really understanding your working capital cycle. Now you think, working capital, what's that? Well, basically in English, working capital is, do I have enough money to pay my bills? So we kind of think from an accounting perspective that having enough money to pay your bills is pretty important. So if you want to grow the strength in your balance sheet and have an opportunity to grow your business, therefore you need to understand this thing. It's actually really simple. So here's your first idea. When we start off in business, we start off with a little bit of money. So I don't know where we get that money from. We might, I don't know, go to the bank, or you might rob your piggy bank, or you might borrow it off mum. Whatever you do, probably doesn't really matter. So what we do is we get this little bit of money. So we call that cash. So we start off with that. Now, sticking cash in the bank, last time I checked, that wasn't really a business. So what do we have to do with that? Well, we have to buy something to sell, or we have to make something, or we have to do something along those lines. So what do we do? What do we call that? Well, in accounting language, we call that stock or inventory, or just general work if we're a service business. So we'll call that stock for now, because that's an easier word for me to spell than inventory. So we get our cash, and with our cash we go off and we buy some stock. So life is all pretty good now. Don't really have any cash left, but I've got all this nice stuff sitting in my warehouse ready to sell. What's the plan now? Well, one would say probably a good idea might be to sell it. So let's say that I got lucky and that I bought the right sort of stock and someone wanted to buy it off me. So someone's bought it, and that stock now turns into debtors. So I started off with some cash, I turned that into some stock, I got lucky, I sold that, turned that into some debtors, so that's some people who have promised that they're going to pay me for my stuff. And what happens if I get really, really lucky? Well, they might even pay their bill, and if I'm super lucky, they might even pay it on time. And that money turns back into cash again. And that is what we call the working capital cycle. So what we like to do is measure exactly how long that takes. So how long does it take our cash turn into our stock? How long does our stock sit there before we sell it? Then how long does it take us to collect our money? And we add up that amount of time, and that's how long it takes us to spin our working capital cycle. Now what we want to do is get some numbers around here, get some numbers around here, and then what we want to do is do everything possible in our power to speed it up. So the faster we can spin this little baby, the more money that we're going to have dropping out of the bottom of it. This is particularly important as our business starts to grow, because a balance sheet can get lazy, and I'm sure you've heard of the term lazy balance sheet before. If we just stick a bucket of cash next to a lazy old balance sheet, it's just going to be like a sponge sitting in water. It's just going to soak it all up, and we're really just going to run out of money really, really quickly. So improving your balance sheet, number one, understand your working capital cycle, measure your stock days, measure your debtor days, and then actually do something about it.